So this is one of Oprah's favorites. She says it's a miracle fountain of youth and her magic wrinkle curated.
How come it's red?
I'll show you in a sec, Steve. But so it's made from human foreskin. I'm sorry, Steve.
First name Donald, last name Trump, participated regularly in paying money to force me to blank or redacted with him, and he was present when my uncle murdered my newborn child and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan.
First time when we all done it, we did so much.
When you did what?
When you killed the baby, first time. And
you killed the babies?
Yes.
You yourself?
With Papa. Papa holding my hand, he helped me. And he pushed my hand and then cut off the head.
You guys seen anybody do the blood yet? The what? The blood? The blood? Have you guys seen anybody do the blood yet? Not yet. Let's go. All right, let's go. Call your lead. Just the blood.
I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
No worries. It's either conceived or born.
I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time. I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door.
What if the most massive document dump in the history of the Department of Justice wasn't designed to show us the truth, but to bury it under a mountain of redacted nonsense? We've been told for years that the names would come out, that the flight logs would be the smoking gun, and that the world's most powerful people would finally face the music. But as over 3 million pages of records, thousands of videos, and nearly 200,000 images finally hit the light, a much more disturbing reality is beginning to take shape. Joe Rogan recently sat down and voiced what many are starting to realize. This isn't just about one man who didn't make it out of his cell. It's about an entire class of fixers who operate in the shadows between our government and the private sector. The files don't just show us who went to an island. They show us how the world is actually run and why the people in charge are so desperate to keep the most sensitive parts of these files hidden behind black ink and endless legal delays. But even with the redactions, the patterns are becoming impossible to ignore, and the names being pulled into the gravity of this investigation are some of the biggest icons in tech, law, and politics.
So you're sitting down there having cocktails while Bill Clinton's getting a massage from some girl who's rubbing her tits against the back of his head, whether knowingly or unknowingly having sex with underage girls.
Everybody wants to be.
Maybe some guys, that was their thing.
Sure.
Because it seemed like with Epstein, that was his thing.
Yeah.
The mistake most people make is looking at Jeffrey Epstein as a financier or a socialite, but those who have studied the files closely, including Rogan and his circle, see him as a professional fixer. This is a specific class of individual that doesn't officially belong to the CIA, the Mossad, or any specific corporate board, but instead sits in the sticky layer that connects them all. Think of it as the connective tissue of the global elite. One person doesn't just stumble into the inner circles of the British royal family, Saudi royalty, and American presidents by being good at math or having a nice townhouse. You are placed there. The latest release of documents suggests that Epstein was an asset, a man who could move money where it wasn't supposed to go and collect leverage on people who thought they were untouchable.
Let me just get real and say,
if I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who could move money around.
Right.
He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, you know, if you're state-funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and, you know, there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a construct. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap?
Yep.
So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman, I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s, and she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are juggling around.
While he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously nerd fishing. He was fishing for nerds, and I think he caught a lot of nerds in that net.
perhaps no name in the new files has faced more heat than Bill Gates. While the software giant has spent years trying to frame his relationship with Epstein as a series of charitable dinners he now regrets, the internal emails tell a much more specific and sordid story. The documents unearthed a series of exchanges where Epstein appeared to be pressuring Gates over an alleged relationship with a Russian bridge player named Mila Antonova. But it gets darker. One of the most shocking revelations involves an email where Epstein allegedly discussed Gates trying to hide a sexually transmitted infection from his wife, Melinda. The files suggest Epstein even went as far as to mention providing antibiotics in case Melinda became infected. Gates has dismissed these claims as absolutely absurd, suggesting Epstein was simply trying to extort him, but the timing is hard to ignore.
Listen to Melinda. True that I was only at dinners, I never went to the island, I never met any women, and so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
There we go. I never met any women. Wow, this is getting curiouser and curiouser, Esther.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately for Bill Gates, now he has to probably deal with the insinuation, at least for many people, that Melinda chose to divorce him and get herself out of that world. Also because of his association or his tenuous links, which he denies, with Jeffrey Epstein. The allegation that he presumably got an STD from a Russian prostitute that was associated with Jeffrey Epstein was actually written in a note by Jeffrey Epstein to himself.
Melinda Gates has since admitted that her husband's refusal to cut ties with Epstein was a massive red flag that played a massive role in their high-profile divorce. She met the man exactly once and claimed he personified evil, yet her husband continued to meet with him long after he was a convicted predator. It raises the question, was it just poor judgment, or was the leverage Epstein held over one of the world's richest men so powerful that Gates had no choice but to stay in the room?
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It was awful.
The fallout from the file release didn't just hit the tech world. It sent shockwaves through the highest levels of American law. Brad Karp, the chairman of Paul Weiss, one of the most influential law firms on the planet, recently had to step down from his leadership role after his name surfaced in the documents. On the surface, the emails seemed mundane, involving his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Epstein, but deeper in the logs, a more personal request emerged. Karp reportedly asked Epstein if he could help his son land a job on an upcoming Woody Allen film. While this might seem like standard networking for the elite, it highlights the fixer nature of Epstein's world. He was the guy who could make things happen, the guy who held the keys to doors that even billionaires and high-powered lawyers couldn't open on their own.
Chairman of a prominent law firm is stepping down over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Weiss law chair Brad Karp says in a statement, quote, "Recent reporting has created a distraction and has placed a focus on me that's not in the best interest of the firm." The firm says Karp will remain with the firm, just in a different role. Senior Washington reporter Will Staken is here for more. Hi, Will. So what's the latest on this growing list of prominent people facing scrutiny over the Epstein files?
Yeah, Diane, well, I think, Mr. Karp right here is kind of the latest fallout from these Epstein files. Like you said, the really powerful law firm Paul Weiss announced that Mr. Karp would be stepping down after his name appeared in these files. Now, the law firm did not give a reason why Mr. Karp is stepping down, and previously the law firm denied Mr. Karp had any wrongdoing, but with this release of these files, his name appears in the files, mostly with his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Mr. Epstein. But there's an email between Mr. Karp and Epstein where he's asking about if he could help, get his son some kind of job in an upcoming Woody Allen film. So I think these emails, obviously are continuing to fall out across, widespread industries. It's kind of the latest fallout here. We saw recently that popular wellness influencer Peter Attia also stepped down from his role at the protein company David.
Elon Musk has been vocal about wanting the clientele list to be released, but the new documents show that his own name isn't entirely absent from the Epstein orbit. While Musk maintains that he never visited the island and never flew on the private jet, often referred to as the Lolita Express, emails from 2012 and 2013 suggest Epstein was working hard to position himself as a connector in Musk's social circle. One report even alleges an email where Musk asked, "What day/night will be the wildest party on your island?" Musk has since claimed these emails are being cherry-picked or completely misread to make him look bad, but the fact remains that Epstein had his hooks into almost every major player in Silicon Valley. Whether it was Steve Bannon, Howard Lutnick, or Musk himself, the documents show a pattern of Epstein attempting to act as a gatekeeper for the tech elite. For someone like Musk, who prides himself on being an outsider, these associations are a massive PR liability.
And a top Justice Department official says the review of the Jeffrey Epstein files is over. The same official indicated there would be no new charges. Now the Trump administration is facing backlash from Epstein's survivors and Democrats. This was California Congressman Rogan yesterday.
There is a demand for elite accountability, but the survivors' lawyers that I've talked to have said that the survivors are still upset. They're upset that many of their names accidentally came out without redactions, and they want to make sure the rest of the files come out.
CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us from our Washington bureau with more on this. Scott, you've been sifting through as much of this as you can. What's in this so-called final batch?
It's a process. We're still working through millions of pages here, Errol. And it's worth noting these were released more than 40 days after the legal deadline for the Department of Justice to do so. No one besides Epstein and former associate Ghislaine Maxwell has been charged. But the Department of Justice insisting its work is done has only fueled more controversy.
Joe Rogan admitted that more than a decade ago, Alex Jones was screaming about an island where the world's elite were being flown to be compromised. At the time, Rogan brushed it off as lizard people level insanity. It sounded like the plot of a bad movie, too extreme, too unprovable, and too insane to be true. Jones warned that famous scientists, politicians, and celebrities were being filmed in compromising positions so that information could be used against them. He even warned about a coming social credit score system, where your money would be tied to your behavior, potentially trapping people within a 15-minute radius of their homes. Looking back now, the crazy theories of 2010 have become the front-page news of the 2020s. Rogan points out that this is the most disturbing part of the Epstein story. The truth was hiding in plain sight for decades, dismissed as a conspiracy theory by the mainstream media until the evidence became so overwhelming that it could no longer be contained. It makes you wonder what else being dismissed today will be proven true in another 10 years.
You're telling me there's a place where they bring elites to compromise them with underage girls and they film them? Really? Like, what? Get the f*** out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, President Clinton's been there. Everyone's been there. Like, what? It sounds like nonsense. And not only is it true, but people keep getting f***ing murdered for it. Did you see that latest Clinton advisor that got murdered? Got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hung with an extension cord, himself in the chest, 30 miles from his house, and they're calling it a...
And now even Elon Musk is asking, where's the clientele list?
Yeah.
We should probably see who's been to that island.
Yeah, we should probably see who's been to that island.
It's so tangled. You know, the whole thing is just, I think everybody who looks at it realizes this is a rabbit hole that just goes to the center of the earth. And there's so many people involved in that. Here's the big question that people ask. If there was a Jeffrey Epstein, and it seems like all these things he was involved in, is there a Jeffrey Epstein right now that we don't know about?
There's a million of them.
A million of them.
I mean, this is why I find this, this is not the core of what I focus on, but I find it a really interesting field of study because it helps understand so many other U.S. government institutions and the relationship between government and private business. Jeffrey Epstein is part of a class of what are effectively professional fixers. And this is a kind of class of professional who sits not really within a particular government or private sector institution, but in the kind of sticky layer between them that connects them all.
The files also detail the bizarre ways Epstein would groom intellectuals. Eric Weinstein, a legitimate mathematician and economist, shared a story with Rogan that perfectly illustrates Epstein's tactics. Weinstein recalled his first meeting with Epstein, where the financier had a beautiful woman in her 20s sitting on his lap while he asked Weinstein complex math questions. Weinstein's immediate instinct was that Epstein was a fraud, a construct. Epstein wasn't interested in math, he was nerve-hishing. He was using the presence of beautiful young women to disarm brilliant men, making them feel like rock stars who could hang out with the intellectual elite while enjoying the perks of a billionaire bachelor lifestyle. By creating an environment that felt like Christmas in July, Epstein made these men feel safe and appreciated. He wasn't just collecting math nerds, he was collecting assets. Once these men were in his house, enjoying his hospitality and his connections, they were in the web. It was a sophisticated psychological operation designed to make the most brilliant minds in the world feel like they were part of an exclusive club, all while Epstein was likely documenting every move they made.
About the Epstein releases, like before we got started, like first of all,
The
like
photo dump and the emails, it's nuts.
But it's also they're doing it so slowly. Like you guys have had this stuff for a year. Like,
And we were promised multiple times, it's coming, it's coming.
Doesn't it seem like you could just throw all that into AI at this stage of the game?
Yes.
And just redact the names of the victims and let's go?
Yeah, of course.
It seems like that would take 5 minutes.
I mean, it feels like, you can't help but feel like the administration is just like watching their back, and that's why it's happening.
Watching someone's back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all speculative why they haven't released it, but it's not good. It's not good for everybody's confidence.
No.
It's not good that this thing was going on, that they had this bizarre blackmail operation running. That's very weird.
Very strange.
Very weird. But it kind of makes sense. Because if you're a 60-year-old billionaire and you're a freak and you like to get your freak on, but unfortunately you're a gigantic software developer and everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get your freak on.
Well, that's the thing is like it makes sense when you go like, oh, some of these dudes really like visiting that place.
Yeah.
It's like that's the only place they can go.
Right.
You can't go anywhere else.
Right. And that's why they set it up for them.
Yeah.
Eric Weinstein said that to me once. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
If you're the former president of the United States, you can't go to a nightclub.
Yeah, he said, I think there are people out there that provide experiences for certain people that have a hunger for them.
Yeah.
I was like, of course. And that's also how they compromise people too, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get you to vote the way they want you to vote and play ball. Bobby, we got video, you sucking a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? Yeah. Because, like, I bet all those people have something on them. That's how they stay in the game.
They have to.
It's like skull and bones. You got to suck the dick.
Well, look at like.
Otherwise, we can't trust you.
For the Epstein shit, like, look at the level of people that we're visiting. I mean, it's all at the highest level of influence, power, and fame.
Yeah.
And so you go, yeah, this dude wants to do some wild shit. He can't go to Cheetahs and get it done. You know?
Yeah.
You can't do it. He's got to go somewhere. Yeah. What sounds good? A private island.
Yeah. He can't just like order up a call girl.
It's too risky.
Where are you going? I'm going to Captain Billionaire's house. Yeah. Suck his dick. I do it every Tuesday. Plus, I'm on meth.
One of the more controversial elements to emerge from the latest files is the reignition of the Pizzagate discussion. While the 2016 conspiracy theory was widely debunked after the violent incident at Comet Ping Pong, online communities have pointed out nearly 900 references to pizza across the millions of Epstein documents. In the context of these emails, the word often appears in seemingly innocuous sentences that feel out of place given the high-level nature of the conversations. Some analysts suggest that Epstein and his associates were using pizza and other everyday phrases as coded language to discuss their illegal activities. While the mainstream media largely ignores these patterns, the sheer volume of these references in a file dump focused on elite misconduct has made people question if there was a deeper, real-world crime linked to these digital breadcrumbs. Whether it's actual code or just a strange linguistic quirk of the elite, it adds another layer of mystery to a story that already feels like a rabbit hole with no bottom.
I'll give you another example here. Epstein sends a message to someone. She looks pregnant, reacting to a photo. And the client replies back to Epstein, "You mean radiating a soft glow with the look of bliss and excitement? Yeah, that's the pizza." I cannot be clearer than this, that this is a code word. It makes no sense in that context whatsoever. And this on top of the example I gave you earlier, when his neurologist gave him the medicine for having an erection, erectile dysfunction, I assume, or it could be even Viagra, and then told him to wash his hands, go have pizza and grape soda. Has been mentioned time and time again, having adult men, successful men that are very health oriented, constantly talk about pizza with grape soda, which I've never heard before.
Yeah, I've never heard of pizza and grape soda before this. I don't know if that specific combination was part of the whole Pizzagate thing, but it's definitely mentioned a lot because I saw that phrase, so I looked it up and was like, is this actually like in there multiple times? And it most definitely is.
There's another one here. Have you seen the beef jerky you mentioned as well? There's an email here from Jeffrey Epstein. Someone else says, Francis has time to come tomorrow to show me how to make it. Jerky, anyone? He will also bring you a taste of his jerky recipe from the restaurant and sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cook's. Wait for it, beef jerky and steak. Yes, time at 3 p.m. There's other emails of him talking about beef jerky. Another one here, Jeffrey Epstein sending it to Steve Hansen saying, hope you're feeling better. Did we analyze the beef? Did you analyze the jerky? Now there's talks about jerky, referencing human meat. It could be for scientific research, it could be something else that's even sicker. There's more emails here talking about beef jerky. Have you had time to go through those? There's one here, thank you so much, super cool. IT guy setting up Surface right now. We are ridiculously excited, and beef jerky delicious. Thank you, Thanksgiving. So yeah.
It is very. I've got all those emails saved. I'd actually had somebody send to me all of those to say, "Hey, would you check this out?" So I have them. I have not read through all of them, but there's no shortage of terms that are phrased in a peculiar way. Muffin is another one. I've seen that a couple of times. I talked about when he says "whoops." That seems to be in very. Sometimes he says that in very odd terms that seem like they're referring to somebody dying or getting. So there definitely seem to be code words.
The Epstein files represent more than just a criminal investigation. They are a mirror reflecting the most uncomfortable truths about how influence is bought, sold, and maintained. From the nerd fishing of intellectuals to the high-stakes blackmail of tech titans and politicians, the documents reveal a world that operates on a completely different set of rules. As we continue to sift through the millions of pages and the thousands of redactions, the goal shouldn't just be to find a single smoking gun, but to understand the sticky layer that allows these operations to exist in the first place. The media may want to move on, and the government may want to close the case, but the patterns unearthed in these files won't disappear. They tell a story of a system designed to protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. And until there is true elite accountability, the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein will continue to haunt the halls of power. Share your thoughts below. Which of these revelations shocked you the most? And do you think we'll ever see the truly unredacted truth? Don't forget to like and subscribe as we continue to break down every new detail that emerges from this sprawling web of secrets.